I was in the middle of playing some Denise. Sometimes you just got to go back and listen to Denise Williams, especially those years she was with Maurice White. You dig what I'm saying? When she had Earth, and Fire as her backing band. Actually, she was pretty good. And under Wonder Love too. With Stevie Wonder was one of the Wonder Love singers, but when she left Stevie Wonder and Wonder Love and got with Maurice White, that was some of the best music ever produced. What up, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today, what's up, Brandy? What's up, Shayla? What's up, Miss Ladybug? Sacramento up in here. What's up, Woody Mays? Happy Friday, everybody. Zafira and everybody else in here. How many of y'all can guess what song that I was playing? What song was that? What song was that I was playing by Denise Williams? What song was that? What's up, Great Black Shark? What song is that? What's up, Rocky? Um, but anyway, we gonna talk about today is uh, uh a topic. We're talking about who are we defending when it comes to this ICE situation. I'm gonna get to that. The ICE protest. What are we really defending here? No, that wasn't free. That wasn't free. That's right. Free Falling Cali got it right. That's it. Cause you love me, baby. I love that song. But I love all Denise. Denise Williams can do no wrong, in my opinion. She can do no wrong. And she had like Let's Hear It for the Boys, and she had like a lot of big hits. But my favorite is the This Is Niecy album. Check that album out. Check that album out. The This Is Niecy album. That's what friends are for. Free. That's the album with this on it. That's on here. I love the end of the song. Yeah, it's a. Yeah, somebody's watching. She talking about the Lord. That's a spiritual ass song right there. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted. But we're talking about who are we defending today. This whole situation with ICE, what's going on? And then I'm gonna talk about also what are we defending? I'm gonna cover Tichina Arnold's been in the middle of some stuff from her Dion Cole interview that went on last week. If you didn't check it out, go to Dion Cole's channel to check out his interview with Tichina Arnold. And she was in some stuff involving colorism. And for some reason, that interview set off a lot of colorism debates on the internet over the last week. And so I'm gonna bring some balance to that situation and talk about how really a lot of black people don't really understand what racism is and how to go about dealing with it. So a lot of times we major in the minors. So we're gonna cover that, and we're also gonna cover one of my people who follows the channel, Artist Life on Instagram. He's on here, Robbie. He's in the chat room sometimes. He got a clip from the Viral Ray podcast that I was watching, and they were responding to some stuff that G Malone said, the stories that we've been covering all week, and we're starting to see some back and forth going on. So I want to cover that back and forth also. So we're gonna be here for a little while. At some point, I might have to stop If my wife get back before I'm done, I'm gonna have to stop and bring them groceries upstairs because I don't let my wife handle all that heavy shit. You know what I mean? So if I might have to take a. She gonna be out for a while, but if she get back while I'm still live, I may have to take a break for 2 or 3 minutes to help bring some shit in the house. You dig? So that's how my daddy raised me. I be looking at some of you niggas. Y'all watch a woman carry y'all kind of stuff. I be like, God damn, nigga, do you want a man? Shit, I want my woman to say soft. Niggas be women carrying bowling balls in the house. A nigga just sitting there like, yeah, nigga, yeah. Like, dude, what do you get off your rusty ass? Man, if I was letting my wife bring a bunch of heavy stuff up, I could have seen my dad flying over, because he don't live too far from me. I can see my dad flying over, landing on top of my house, slap me in the back of the head like, nigga, what the fuck your problem? And flying back home. I ain't raised you like that. You ever see your mama carrying heavy shit? And I'll be like, nah, daddy, I didn't. Yeah, motherfucker. So if any of you weird ass niggas talking about some shit, I let my woman carry heavy stuff. Sorry for you. I was raised by a dope father who I saw take care of my mama and treat her great. And my daddy still take care of my mama to this day. To this day. My pops and my mom still got a dope ass relationship. So that's what I follow. I follow how I was raised, not what's cool to a bunch of internet niggas. You say your white neighbor makes his wife take out the trash? Man, my wife better not touch no goddamn trash. I remember one time my wife did I take out trash is when I had my last knee surgery. I remember I had knee surgery and I couldn't move for a week. And I was like, man, I don't want no woman of mine taking out no goddamn trash. My daddy kicked my motherfucking ass. I got to see my dad every day of my life operate when I lived at home with my parents. And I still talk to my dad almost every day. Shit, my daddy kicked my ass when I did some weird shit like that. What's up, DJ Kenny? DJ G Kenny? So, yeah. Nah, I'm very much so misogynistic. You dig what I'm saying? Men carry the heavy load, do the heavy shit. Let women, I tell my wife all the time, anything inside this house, I don't give a fuck what you do. You can, long as she knows I don't want, she knows she ain't gonna paint these walls no gay ass colors. She ain't gonna do no weird shit. You dig what I'm saying? So inside this house, this is woman shit. Don't even ask me what I think. I don't give a fuck. All I need is a 4K TV, good internet, my PlayStation, and some weed and a comfortable couch to sit on. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck. A lot of you niggas want to turn into interior designers just so you can control your woman. No, I want it this way. I don't want it that way. Nigga, women are better at organizing the inside of a house than we are. Women got all kind of spatial. Now, some dudes got talent. I ain't talking about the dudes who got a specialized talent. I'm talking about 9 out of 10 times. The shit that go on in the house, women know, like, I don't come to me about organizing no goddamn pantry closet. I ain't touching none of that shit. You put it up there when I need to grill some ribs, I'll go look for my rub that I use wherever you put it. Niggas like, no, I want it here, I want it there. I ain't no fucking control freak. That's woman shit. I ain't washing no goddamn dishes. I ain't doing none of that women shit. None of that. I ain't gonna be over here. Don't ask me to clean the ninja. You hell nah. I ain't touching none of that shit. But at the same time, I'm taking out the trash and I'm doing the heavy lifting. Yeah, I'm misogynistic. So, only women that complain are women that ain't got a man that's like that. Anyway, so yeah, I ain't doing none of that woman shit. Fuck that. Oh, something's in the cabinet. Well, you do it. I ain't touching no goddamn cabinet. Nothing. I ain't organizing shit. It ended up looking like my desk. Shit all over the goddamn place. Anyway, we about to talk about it. And our first topic uh is gonna be this situation with ICE, and then we're gonna go to Tichina, her topic, and then we're gonna end it off with oh, there you go, Artist Life. I was looking at his IG. Yeah, not washing dishes. No, clean. No, it's not woman shit washing dishes, but it's woman shit when you got a woman in the house. I wash my own dishes when I was living alone. Shit, I wash my dishes, and I wash them now sometimes, every now and again. But for the most part, no, I'm not touching them goddamn dishes. Give me a paper plate. Yeah. Somebody said if you eat, you can wash a dish. Shit, yeah. And if you, now I'm not gonna get into that. Yeah, both genders can wash dishes. Y'all right. I'm not doing it. I don't give a fuck what you say about it either. Unless it's an emergency. Sometimes you got people over the house and it's all kind of shit. But you know what I do? I know I got a bunch of people coming over. I bust out paper plates and plastic cups. You know why? Because I ain't washing all them goddamn dishes. If I have a fight party, that's why I go to Costco, get that big ass thing of paper plates, that big ass thing of cups, come walking in the house. That's good for like 10, 15 fight parties. Hmm. That's right, Blake, the great black shark. I do the dirty work. She keeps stuff clean. Right. It's a good system in here. Right, DJ Kenny. They trying to stay strong. Right. G Kenny, shit. I'm also the sole income earner in this motherfucker too. So hey. I was looking the other day, we're gonna start at the 15-minute mark. We're gonna start at the 15-minute mark. I was looking, I didn't even realize till yesterday that I managed 9 buildings and 35 doors. I'm like, shit. Apartment manager's always been my side hustle. For those of you just getting here, we're gonna start everything. We're gonna start with this topic at the 15-minute mark. I was like, damn, managing an apartment has been my side hustle for like over 15 years now, but I'm up to 35 doors and 9 buildings. It started out just helping somebody I knew out and managing one apartment I used to own. That shit done grown. I got a foundation, the Black American Music Historical Family Tree Foundation. I got Breakthrough Advocacy Services Company, and I got Breakthrough Cardology. And that's all shit that I do when I'm not online. And I still have time to get out and crack jokes. I'm going to be doing a comedy show at Faithful Central Bible Church 2 weeks from today, January 23rd. Catch me at Faithful Central cracking some jokes. You dig what I'm saying? I'm a hustler. Hustle. That's why I have no tolerance for the people like, man, sometimes you gotta do some things. I get when you in your teens and early 20s doing some illegal things because you don't know no better sometimes. Well, you do know better, but you don't have the skills yet. But you in your 30s and 40s and you still gotta rob people or sell drugs, do some shit to make an income. I ain't got no tolerance for that. Hell, I really ain't got tolerance for people talking about something, we had to break the law too. Nigga, I was 21. I didn't. I had 5 jobs and I was 21. Ain't about to break no goddamn law to make some money. All these legal ways to make money out here. I don't have no tolerance for that shit. But anyway, let's get into it. We have the 15-minute mark. Let's start. Who are we defending? For those of you who been paying attention, you see this whole situation with ICE. I'm not going to play the video because me personally, I don't like seeing people get shot and killed. So to protect my sensibilities, I'm not playing the video. But you guys can go out there and see. For those of you who don't know, there was a woman that was shot by ICE, and she was being told to stop. She talked to one of the ICE officers. She was talking to him. She drove past him, and then she went to another officer who had his gun out and told her to stop. The ICE officer who had his gun out, we find out yesterday, was part of a similar situation this past June, and he was dragged half of a football field, 50 yards. So now he's back at this situation again. This lady, she disobeys the law. And unfortunately for everybody involved, both the shooter and the shootee and everybody's families, she got shot and killed. I'm not here to root for anybody getting shot and killed. But my question is this: black people, what the fuck is this your problem? Like I saw, and again, I'm not saying anything against this woman. I wish everybody could live. I don't like seeing people get killed. That's why I'm not playing the video. People getting killed is not entertaining to me. It's not funny to me. It's nothing to really celebrate or go in on. But let me see if I can find that post. Cause I want y'all to see this post that I put up in some of these comments that are on this post. I saw a lot of black people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media places like talking about this. So I was on my Facebook and I made this post. Watching black people fight for ICE in a state that allowed non-Americans to steal billions is wild. How about you niggas focus on reparations in your state? Everybody getting paid but your black ass. Ain't nobody listening to you anyway. And that's just the truth. Everybody out here getting paid. Black folks, if people listen to us and our plight, we wouldn't be in the situation we in. Ain't nobody listening to your ass. So part of the reason why people don't listen to black people is we always crying. We always complaining. And most of the time we complaining about the wrong shit. We be complaining about stuff that don't even affect us. Going back to when I was on the debate team in college, this is something that you learn in debate. When you're choosing a point of view, a point to argue, you got to be very strategic when you're debating. You got to be very strategic when you're presenting a case, when you're presenting an argument. You have to you can't argue about everything. You can't say, okay, you're talking about, let me give you an example. We used to do a debate on, say, private prisons. If the debate was on private prisons, you wanted to make sure that you focused on the guaranteed recidivism rate that are low key put into these contracts. You want to focus on the slave labor that the prisoners get paid. These are all things that people can understand. You want to keep the focus on the money being exchanged. You want to keep focus on the laws. If I come in and say, well, if I make the argument, well, this private prisoners, it take criminals that only had one felony, not two felonies. The minute I change the argument and I start talking about the criminals within the private prisons, I know as a rhetorician, rhetorician, is that the word? I know as somebody who speaks and I'm trying to convince another group, if I start going into the prisoners and move the conversation away from the power, then people are going to focus on the prisoners and they're going to say, well, that person was a rapist. Are you saying that that rapist doesn't deserve to work their crimes off? And now, instead of having a strong argument that I probably could have won, I saw a major. Once I opened the door for this side issue, it's going to start bringing everybody in to attack that side issue, and it's going to crumble the whole argument. I don't know if I'm communicating that right because I didn't prepare this part. I didn't prepare anything what I'm saying really. I'd be talking off the top of my head, but I'm just speaking to somebody who's been in a lot of debates. You gotta watch what point of views you take, and you cannot argue for everything, and you cannot argue for everybody. That's why those old tales we learned as kids were so important. The boy who cried wolf. You can't that was real. You can't always cry wolf. You can't ride wolf when a pussycat is showing up. That's a cat. Why are you crying wolf? And that's just a cat. I understand you're afraid of cats, but it's not a wolf. Don't cry wolf if you're confronted with a cat. Little Red Riding Hood. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. When she was going through that, though, these are all very, very important lessons we learn as children. These are all you gotta watch what you say and how much you talk about. If everything is an issue, then nothing's an issue. Do you see what I'm saying? If everything is a problem, then nothing's a problem. You have to use your cultural cachet. You have to use your leverage wisely. And when we go using our leverage for everything other than us, nobody's listening when it comes to us. We wonder why people don't listen. Why did they listen 50 years ago, but they don't listen now? Because you fighting for everything. Some stuff you just stay out of. Yes, it could be wrong. But now you got all these black people fighting for her. Then we saw that, okay, she's been disobedient to the officer. You see, oh, now the officer had his gun out. Probably has PTSD from something he went through 6 months ago in a similar situation. And you find out this situation is much bigger than what it was given to us on the news. And furthermore, the only reason why most of you niggas is crying because it was a white woman. Can we tell the whole truth? The main reason why most of you niggas is crying is because it was a white woman. That's just the long and short of it. And no disrespect to white women, but yes, major heat to you niggas. The heat ain't at the white folks on this. The heat ain't at the people of color and the immigrants. The heat is on us. Like I had this one nigga commenting, talking. This nigga told me to check my resources, and when I was talking about Minneapolis, he thought I was talking about the child care centers. I'm like, no, fool. They done way more than child care centers. And you get these niggas that's going around running their mouth. And you got people over here, you got people like this. And it's a lot of people and not just this dude on my page, it's a lot of people that I've seen going around and you throwing the cape on. Again, I think that what happened with her was wrong in some ways. In some ways, it was justified, depending on which side you're looking at it. Either way it go, don't neither side fuck with niggas. So sometimes black people, you just gotta mind your own black ass business. Yeah, people said that. Enigma, people who said they seen the body cam footage said it was justified. Again, I'm not watching. I saw part of it, but I've seen. Y'all don't understand. I got for real PTSD. Like I saw people get killed in front of me when I was 8. I grew up in the Crenshaw district. You know what I mean? I still to this day wonder about some of those people's families when I'm sitting outside and I saw that girl get shot on the corner of Rodeo Road in Farmdale. It's now called Obama Boulevard, but right in front of Dorsey on Rodeo Road in Farmdale. That girl I saw get shot. To this day, I wonder how her family doing. So for me, my PTSD is real. So I don't watch that shit when people get killed. And no. I'm not going to allow this either. Most of those so-called black folks are tethers. No. Yeah, I fucks with you, Brandon. I get what you're saying, but no. A lot of homegrown Negroes doing this shit too. We cannot put everything on tethers. We cannot. I'm on my Facebook friends list. I know they half these niggas I see talking on my Facebook. On Facebook, half my Facebook is people I know in real life. That's why I don't have that many Facebook friends. I just in the last 3 or 4 years started accepting people I don't really know in real life on the Facebook. Facebook people I know. I know where they mama say half of them. These are black Americans, L.A. born and raised, or people I know from not from L.A. but I know in person. No, these is niggas, not just tethers. We can't put everything on tethers. You cannot put everything on tethers. It's a lot of homegrown coons too. You hit that like button. What's up, Brooke? But you say BM's here to show last night, cooning like crazy. Which one? But you see what the left wing media has been doing by demonizing ICE. A lot of ICE officers are no longer able to do their jobs. You saw today there was a hit that Hilton Hotel in Minneapolis that wasn't booking ICE agents. Hilton just pulled their charter today. Their charter. Their what do you call that franchise? Yeah, Hilton a couple days ago. Hilton cut ties with the Minnesota hotel after the Department of Homeland Security ICE agents were denied. So it's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, ICE is just doing their job, and we need ICE. We do. Every country needs its own version of ICE. If there's a country that has laws, yeah, y'all see how on one end these liberals are saying that Trump is wrong. He's not respecting the sovereignty of Venezuela. Well, the United States has sovereignty too, and how it deals with people who comes here illegally. That's part of being a sovereign nation. If people break the law to get here, as a sovereign nation, you have the right to follow the law to get them out. Like every country has that right. And I'm not against immigrants at all. I know some of y'all in the chat, y'all be like, send them all home. I don't care. Immigrants are cool to me. I don't give a shit. This is again, my people ain't the one running this goddamn country. So if these white folks want to bring in immigrants, let them. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I ain't running this. I'm focusing on what we do here as a black American nation. But we do got to pay attention to what's going on. I don't necessarily support this country opening the floodgates, but I'm not against it either. I'm totally neutral. I don't give a fuck. But we do have enforcement for a reason. The same way Mexico has enforcement, the same way Bermuda has enforcement, and Canada, and Australia, and Austria, and Argentina. You dig what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So, black folks, stay out of this shit, man. Let me look. These white folks are the ones that won them over anyway. And do y'all know that right now Trump is still in his first year? Trump still has less deportations than Obama did in his first year. Do y'all know that? Trump ain't even deporting that many. This is most of the shit that we see with all these deportations is pomp and circumstance. It's all propaganda. It's all made to make us feel like they doing something. They opened up the H-1B visa program, so Trump is bringing in tons of immigrants to take those higher paying jobs, the college professor jobs, the Department of Motor Vehicle jobs. They bringing all the motherfuckers in there legally, the nursing jobs, doctors. Yeah, they bringing them in here left and right. And they ain't deporting that many people. They just doing this shit to make Trump's racist base feel as if he's doing something. Trump ain't even deporting that many goddamn people. And you niggas is jumping all in the middle. Fuck ice. Fuck vanilla ice. Yeah, ice, baby. But outside of that, fuck you doing? Niggas look stupid as hell. Racial confusion in black America is running wild. That's one part of the racial confusion. The next part I want to get to when it comes to racial confusion is what's going on with Miss Tichina Arnold. We're gonna get to her, and then we're gonna break down what was said on the Viral Ray podcast in response to Glasses Malone. That's gonna be the third topic. But this second topic is we're gonna go into what happened with. There was a backlash that I noticed. It all started out last summer with Ari Lennox, and I saw it when it happened, but I didn't feel like addressing this shit then because it was just stupid. And salute to Ari Lennox. I ain't got no issues with Ari Lennox, but I do come from a world that I think that society's gotten way too simple, too sensitive. And a lot of this shit I just ain't got the time to deal with. So when I heard these initial comments, I was like, a lot of y'all tagged me in these comments too. And apologies to a lot of y'all wanted me to cover this back then. I just didn't have the time to cover it in the summertime. Some shit was too goddamn ass backwards. Sometimes, you're going through a lot. It's a lot going on in life. I'm, running apartment buildings. It's just, some stuff is like, I ain't dealing with that shit, man. But now it's come back around. I'm like, let's just go ahead and talk about it. So this is the original comment that started off everything. Talking about colorism. Let's break this shit down.
The thing that pissed me off about Martin was how much he would go on Pam. Like I know, and this is coming from a girl who I love me a good joking ass movie, and it even when the joking movie is like, damn, like that was fucked up. I'm not like too woke or something is what I'm trying to say. Like I'm honestly not, I'm problematic. I'm pretty problematic, low key. But my point is that
it's taking her 30 seconds of talking to still not get to the goddamn point. Bartholomew Washington became a member. Salute to you. Arlene's now been talking for 30 seconds, and she still ain't got to the point. First lesson, y'all. If a person gotta talk around and around and around and around and around to get to the point, they generally don't have a point. They generally don't have a point when they gotta get to the goddamn point. I love you, Ari Lennox. I ain't here to bash you. I'm not here to bash you. I'm just gonna sit around because I think Ari Lennox is a dope artist, but she just grew up in times where sensitivity is the thing of the day, and everybody want to be sensitive, and I ain't got time for it. But let's keep going.
that there are some things where I draw the line and it just bothered me, or I don't know, it's like Pam was so fucking beautiful and so fine, and I just feel like growing up as a chocolate girl, like, I don't even know if I was able to understand the greatness of Pam because of the light that I feel like I was being fed. You know what I'm saying? Like, of just like always going on Pam, always, like, that's all I remember. And I didn't like that. But like, so I feel conflicted because while I feel like this show is incredible and I feel like Martin is a legendary show and all of the actors and Tommy and like everybody, like legendary, amazing. Like, I adore them all. Like, you have no idea. And I adore Martin. Like, I adore him. It just would piss me off. Like, the joking on Pam. I just didn't like that, you know? Like, I'll always kind of feel a way about that.
See, that right there. And Ari Lennox is a beautiful chocolate girl herself. But you can see this. Whatever Martin was about far more than joking on Pam. What part of what made Martin, the show Martin, so great was Pam was just as funny going back at Martin. The fact that Martin Lawrence was humble enough to have his cast get him as much as he gave, that off top is what made the show great. Because some of these shows, the star always got to walk around looking like this. And that's why most of these shows suck today. Martin Lawrence, salute to him, first off, for being humble enough to allow the cast to hit him back as hard as he hit. And and oftentimes, more often than not, Pam hit Martin harder than he hit her. Like when she ducked down and she was calling and she started singing the midget songs and shit. That shit was so goddamn funny, that episode. Well, what I saw and I was a kid when this song, when Martin was on, I was a kid. What was Martin, 92 to 97? So that means I was between the ages of 11 and 17, 16 when Martin was on TV. So I'm a kid too during this time. This is not me from an adult perspective. We saw everybody get it. But what I'm seeing and what I feel is, and this happens all the time, Ari Lennox was projecting her own insecurity on to Pam when she watched that show. And she's not unique. A lot of people do this. She probably saw herself in Pam and she probably was like, damn, if she's pretty and dark and people could talk about her, that means they could talk about me too. And a lot of people, I'm not singling out Ari Lennox. A lot of people do this. The thing that you're insecure about, when you see somebody else getting it, oftentimes it's something called vicarious trauma. It's called vicarious trauma. Look at the term vicarious trauma. You can have trauma by somebody else's experience. Look up the term vicarious trauma. And I'm not a therapist, but I have spent damn near a lifetime around it. This is what that sounds like to me from Ari Lennox. It sounds like her vicarious, undealt with vicarious trauma led her to that conclusion. Because I'm sure there were people in school that was a lot of those Pam jokes that happened. I'm sure kids came to school the next day and using the jokes that Martin said on Pam against Ari Lennox. I know how this shit go. I was in middle school when Martin was out. Hell yeah, hell. Me and my sister used to use them Pam short jokes against my brother. Cause my brother's shorter than me. I'm 6'2". You know, I'm the tallest one in my family. The rest of my family, all them niggas, none of them niggas crossed. Nobody in my family crossed the sixes. I'm the only one over 6 feet in my family. And my brother, he's shorter than me. So when Martin came out, by the time I was getting to middle school, my brother was in high school. Me and my brother are like at the same height. He in high school, I'm in middle school. And then I ended up getting taller than my brother by the time I got to high school. So them Pam jokes that she had on Martin, man, we used to kill my brother with them jokes. Yeah, I'm 6'2". Most niggas be looking at me on this goddamn sitting down, hunched over. Y'all be thinking I'm a rolling meatball. No, I'm 6'2" and very athletic. Yeah, oh yeah, when she called him Arsenio Small. See, Brandy was in the homegirl Brandy, she was in Overripe Middle School with me. We used to have jokes. Martin came on Thursday. Friday, niggas couldn't wait to get one of them jokes off on somebody in class. That's just black American tradition. Yeah, I am 6'2" sideways, and your mama felt all 6'2" of it inside of her. You dig? So back to what we talking about. So we, as a culture, that's what we do. And people tend to project their insecurities on what they're saying. Like me, as a big nigga. That's why a lot of people, like that one dude, thought that he ate with that joke. And I saw the joke coming. That's why I was able to play it and get back right to him. You niggas with fat jokes, y'all niggas are suck. I'm just gonna say it. That's why I got a rule in my chat room. 2 bad jokes, you're out of here. Because in my opinion, the easiest jokes is fat jokes, black jokes, and short jokes. If you fuck up a fat joke, a black joke, and a short joke, you're just useless to humanity. Those are the easiest jokes. But a lot of y'all come up in here repeating the same joke y'all was repeating in the 3rd grade. And that's why I have no tolerance for it. Now, if you hit me with a good one, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Because I ain't got no insecurity over my size. If I was that insecure, I just would lose the weight. But I'm not insecure, so I don't care. You know? So to me, it's just you hit me with a joke, I'll be like, I just hope it's funny. Because if it's funny, I'm going to laugh. If it's not funny, I'm going to get frustrated because fat jokes are too easy for you not to land. If you can't land a fat joke, you're useless. Don't crack jokes. Go pick roses. Do something else. Become a ballerina, nigga. But don't crack jokes if you can't land a fat joke, a black joke, or a short joke. And I'm talking about 98 out of 100. But Martin, to me, was a classic black American experience. And if you pay attention, a lot of Martin was just like the Jeffersons, was just like Sanford and Son. You had the same dynamic between Martin and Pam that you have between George and Florence, that you have between Fred Sanford and what's her name? Y'all know her name, Sanford and Son. It's that, and on Martin, the reason why it was so great was because Pam was a jealous hater friend, and just when it comes, that was her character, the hater friend. And we all know you would agree. We all of us who've had relationships, you've been in multiple relationships. There was always a few relationships you was in where your girl had that friend that you did not like. So Pam was funny on all that. The reason why that if Ari Lennox could back out of her prejudice meaning prejudgment of a woman that looks like her, if she could have back Esther, that was her name, Esther. If Ari Lennox could step outside of her own projections, she see the bigger the hate between Pam and Martin was Pam was the friend that didn't like the boyfriend. And people who've been in relationships, you've been down that road. Thank God I don't deal with it with none of my wife's friends, but she did have friends back in the day, in previous relationships back in the day that I was in before my wife, where I had to deal with that friend. And so Pam and Martin, Pam would say shit to Martin that you wanted to say to your girl's homegirl. But you knew your girl would have been like, don't talk about her. So you can watch Martin and watch him get it off. people are saying, I remember growing up as a kid, my grandfather and his sister used to go at it. My grandfather, my aunt Sarah, her married name was Bass. And I remember this is like Thanksgiving, like 92, 93, early 90s. She came over and they would always go back and forth, their brother and sister. But you know, when you were a kid, they just two old people, you know? And my grandfather would always be like, "You come up here, yeah, you ain't, that man, he wasn't shit, yeah, he wasn't." And she's like, "Shut up, Percy. That's why you asked, blah 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 blah." And then my grandfather hit my aunt Sarah back with, "Yeah, that's why you had to change your last name from mine, from Beeman to Bass." And he said, "But what you need to do is take the B off the Bass, and that's what you really are." And me and my sister sit back, probably funny as hell. I'll never forget my grandfather said that. He was like, "Yeah, you have to change your last name to Bass." He said, "And what you need to do is take that B off your last name to show the world what you really are. Call you Sarah Ass." And this is my grandfather and his sister going at it. They from Grace, Mississippi. Grew up as sharecroppers. Came to LA in 1937. Martin wasn't doing shit that I wasn't seeing with my grandparents. Black people, am I tripping? Am I tripping? Martin was a cultural show. That's how we get down. And here's the beautiful thing about it. I'll have people say, "Well, why we gotta be that way? Why?" You know what? You know what the alternative is with all the oppression and shit that we've gone through? Violence. That's the alternative. People gotta get their bullshit off. Either you gonna get your bullshit off rhetorically or physically. And culturally, as black people, we tend to get our shit off rhetorically. That's how we deal with all the shit that we've gone through. All the PTSD we've gone through. We do it by playing the dozens. Look at your leg longer than the other one. You bow-legged, Biggie small leg, have looking ass nigga. Why your forehead so big? Why your ears so big? Why you got them big ass nostrils? You can sniff a Zippo lighter up them big ass show enough nostrils you got. That's how we are. And if you're light skinned with green eyes and long hair with a lot of money, we gonna be like, look at this old perfect ass nigga. Think that they got all their shit together in that big ass house with that long ass hair. You still ain't shit. That's just how we are. And that's okay. That's fine. Because all of life has positive and negative. High vibrations, low vibrations. Low vibrations are always going to exist. Negative vibrations are always going to exist. You can't say, we can't do that. No, people got to have a fucking outlet. The other outlet is fighting or shooting. So I'd rather my people shoot jokes than shoot pistols. Because people that can't take a joke are generally the ones that take a pistol or want to fight because you can't take a joke. Man, take a joke instead of taking an ass whooping. Yeah, you learn how to counter disrespect with the real world. Yeah, yeah. It builds character. Yeah. So that's the first part I want to address in what she said. So that's how it originally started. This all started with Ari Lennox and her complaint. So Tichina went on to Deion Cole's show.
We all
See,
have
yeah, I saw this yesterday on her page. She did an apology. I'm like, what the hell is she apologizing for? And this is something else that they were on her about right here. Listen to this. Come on, Pinwheel. I just had Spectrum out here yesterday fixing my goddamn internet. Come on now. The fuck?
Opinions, we all have our be so bad.
Here it
And
is.
don't realize that people don't realize that reverse colorism happens as well.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And I remember Tisha, she would cry sometimes. It would be so bad because we had a live studio audience, and the girls, the black girls would come in, and they were there for Martin, you know, and that was Martin, like this Def Comedy Jam and stuff. So it was that kind of crowd that would come to our shows, and they would laugh so hard, they would bang on the floor like you would hear. It was just crazy from the laughter of the audience, and every time the whole first season. Every time Tisha would walk out, all you hear was, they would not laugh at her jokes.
Wow.
That's true. I remember that.
They treated her horribly.
That's crazy.
And I was treated fine because, you know, you would think there would be me because I'm going back and forth with him. But no, they did not want Martin having a girlfriend.
Wow.
She just so happened to be light skinned.
Yeah.
You know, the way we used to crap on Tisha about being light skinned, oh my God. It was bad. So we have jokes, but my relationship.
And yeah, so people started complaining and getting mad at Tichina because she talked about how there can be reverse colorism. And that's very true. It could go. Here's the thing. And this going back to my overall point about racial confusion in Black America is running wild. And if we listen to the great Needy Fuller Jr., he always said that's the whole point of racism, white supremacy, is for confusion. The white supremacist runs and thrives off confusion. If you want to understand racism, Needy Fuller United Compensatory Code concept system, or do yourself a favor and follow. Even though it's Neely Fuller passed away last year, he still has tons of videos up on YouTube. Go back and listen to those Neely Fuller interviews and listen to him break down racism, white supremacy. And he always talks about the racialized confusion that it brings. So yes, what Black people have as far as colorism in this country is centered around, and it goes back to slavery. You find it in Dr. Batalora's book. Where is it? I don't have it. Where's that book? Here it is, Birth of a White Nation. Colorism in Black America, our stuff is still rooted in racism, white supremacy. Our colorism is rooted in laws that gave advantages to light-skinned people, blacks, over dark-skinned blacks. All throughout, all of this really started coming in the late 1600s. In the late 1600s, in Virginia. And then when we did the Louisiana Purchase, a lot of these laws came in through Louisiana after 1810. A lot of laws had hair texture laws in Louisiana. A person can go to court and sue for their freedom from slavery off of hair texture. So when people was talking about Pam and her BDBs and the light-skinned woman with the long hair, straight hair could get you freedom as a Black person in America for in the 1800s. Because if you're straight hair, you can claim your Indian side and not be enslaved. But if your hair was kinky, then you'd be enslaved. So our colorism comes out of laws that gave privileges, that a lot of those privileges, for the most part, got wiped away about 100 years ago. You still had the light skin shit in the early 1900s, but by the time you get to into the 40s and the 50s, Black Americans are realizing that colorism shit, it stopped being effective for us. Too many bright, light-skinned niggas was passing and infiltrating white organizations. So light-skinned Black folks started having the hammer rate drop down on their asses about 100 years ago. So now what we have left with is just leftover feelings from hundreds of years of unaddressed trauma that we have. So you have the light-skinned people who get the quote-unquote light-skinned privilege. And then you get the dark-skinned people who have an issue with light-skinned people just because they light-skinned. I know that that's very much so true because my mom was very much so light-skinned. And my mom, the last time we had white in our family, according to my genealogy, was in the 1868. My great granddaddy that freed himself, that fought in the Civil War and moved to Milwaukee in 1866. He married a German woman in 1866 and had a baby. And that child married a light-skinned black person who'd been light for a long time. But my family's very light. But the last white person that's on record in my genealogy goes back to 1868. And I'm not sure. They said she was German. Germans at that time in the 1860s, there were still swarthy Germans coming to America. They weren't all white. But that's a whole nother history you niggas ain't ready for. But my mom still carries very light skin with long hair. And I would see it with my own mom. As dark as I am, and I'm brown skin right in the middle, I would see how my mom was treated. I remember when my mom went to when they went to the worst vacation she ever had. My mom and my dad always going on vacations. I love them too so much. They always going on vacations. But I remember one time they went on vacation to the Caribbean. And my mom was treated like shit by a lot of the dark-skinned staff. But my mom never played that colorism shit because she saw how it affected both sides. But it's very real and it happens. But our colorism is based off of hundreds of years of unaddressed trauma, not a power dynamic like racism and white supremacy is based off of. So what Tichina is saying is very real. A lot of dark-skinned people harbor feelings towards light-skinned people, oftentimes very much so justified, sometimes because of propaganda. A lot of light-skinned people harbor feelings towards black people. But one thing about us in Black America, especially now, it's really since the 1960s, we don't allow our colorism thing to get in the way of economic opportunities. You dig what I'm saying? Black people's colorism is just running our mouths. We're not going to not hire somebody based on the tone of their skin, like how it exists in other parts of the world. So so Tichina had to do an apology. And I saw this video, I'm like, what the fuck is she apologizing for? Then I watched it. Well, let's listen to the apology she made from that.
Okay, listen, we all have opinions. We all have our right to opinions, but we also have responsibility. So when I misspeak, I like to apologize for that because you're never too old to learn. So I made a statement on Dion Cole about reverse colorism. I was speaking too fast, just speaking from experience, but I never ever want to insult anyone for no reason. And I misspoke. I spoke too soon. I asked my sons, my TV sons, how they felt about it, and they corrected me. So I stand corrected, and my apologies for anyone who mistook what I said. But it wasn't in the spirit of which I said. I just misspoke.
Yeah, you were speaking to your experience.
So that's what she was saying. She made it very clear. She didn't apologize for saying what she said. She apologizes for how it came out. And that's how it happens sometimes as a speaker. I get exactly what she said. She didn't apologize, make it very clear. She did not apologize for what she said. She did apologize for how it came out. Sometimes things have come out in a certain way. And I understand that. But I'm going to say, if Tichina's not going to say it, I'm going to say it for her. If you were offended, fuck you. Niggas always getting offended at something. I'm tired of black people always getting offended at bullshit. Like that, what's that one dude? Ryan Clark. Y'all saw a couple weeks ago, Ryan Clark, he said he got offended because the Uber driver musically profiled him. Do y'all remember that? For those of you who don't know, there's a football player like 2 or 3 weeks ago, former football player, that said that when he gets in Ubers, the Uber driver musically profiles him and plays hip hop. And I'm listening to this nigga talk like, man, you sound like a bitch. I'm not calling that man a bitch, but I'm for sure saying he sound like one. Stop. Enough. 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 You niggas need to learn what the fuck racism really is. It ain't your little bitch ass feelings. And I keep saying I'm gonna stop cussing, but I gotta be straightforward. Everybody that taught me growing up, everybody that was real in my life, said it with some cuss words. Everybody that was true and genuine. So that's just inside of me. It's probably fucking me up in the algorithm. I'm sure it is. But when I get to telling the truth, I cuss. Because I speak from my heart. And I'm not about to mince words from some sensitive-eared motherfucker out there. Hell, the people that I'm talking to, y'all be the same ones that get offended when somebody cuss. Fuck y'all. Sensitive people have been running it too long. And when you're sensitive and you cry about everything, then nobody hears when we really got a problem. We got a lot of real stuff that we dealing with here that needs to be addressed. But if you crying about a goddamn colorism on a TV show, crying about being musically profiled, crying about, ooh, she said reverse colorism. Nigga, you the problem. I don't have a phone line open yet, but I'll take this call. I don't want no calls yet, but I'll take this one. Caller, what's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Dewan, it's Desmond, New York.
Desmond from New York. What's on your mind, brother?
What's up, man? This thing really is bothering me because I just don't understand this. Like, all of a sudden, we're like revisiting Martin when it was very clear about what that show was about. And actually, what's happening is you have younger people. I think Ari Lennox was the woman that came in and started interjecting this colorism thing. And I'm saying, wait a minute, she doesn't understand bagging, jonesing, playing the dozens. When you look at that relationship with Martin and Tichina on the show, it was really a remix of Aunt Esther and Fred Sanford.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're talking about it is an African American, Black American tradition. Like, there's no way you can construe, like, there's such a thing as colorism. Like, I'm not going to say there isn't, but there's this whole thing I'm encountering now where we're getting this remix on what black is. And I don't understand this thing. Like, before, we were very clear about what blackness is. We understood what the lineage meant, that you have black folks that were fair-skinned, that were dark-skinned, that all of us came out of the slavery experience. Everyone knew what was going on, right? All of a sudden now, you have people coming in with this remix dictating who's black. I had a conversation with folks. I'm from a community in Queens, where it's Black Hollywood, where James Brown lived here, Lena Horne lived here. So many people. Jackie Robinson lived here, and I'm hearing people now. Well, Lena Horne isn't black. What? Are we doing this now? So this is something about people who refuse to acknowledge what Black American, what the Black experience is in America. They don't understand the history, the culture, and now they want to do this remix 30 years after it's been done, and they want to redefine things, and they don't have the history or the lived experience to understand what this is. Even when we're dealing with some of the Black immigrants, they want to dictate, that person's mixed, in quotes. And like, wait a minute, that person, we know this person. It's a black person. Have you encountered this, or I'm late to this? Are we changing things now?
You 100% on point, man. It's a sensitivity. It's another generation. It's a generational thing. And it's also, and to tell you the truth is, I don't want to put it just on the young generation, because you got to remember, the young generation was raised by the old generation. The old generation tolerated this shit. The old generation is the one that told the little niggas in the 90s, "Oh, you're a kid. You rule the world." Y'all, the old generation set these little niggas up to be so sensitive. That's why I don't get so on them, because the old niggas taught them to be this sensitive. I be looking around like, nigga, the shit we dealt with as kids, that's how y'all raising y'all kids? Okay, I saw this shit. I saw this shit coming 20 years ago. To tell you the truth, though, honestly, working with kids, I saw this shit coming 20 years ago when I coached basketball. When I was coaching basketball, I used to have parents. I used to have kids doing. Like, I would have them run lines and run suicides, and I'd have parents come to me saying, "Dewan, you treating them too hard." Now those kids I had running suicides 15 years ago when they were 15, now they're 30. And now they sound like this, and now us old niggas want to go around and say, "Look at the kids, look at the kids." I'd be like, man, look at you punk ass parents that didn't want me running, telling your kids to run suicide because they missed 2 free throws. So everybody got a part to play. But thanks for that, dog. I'm gonna get back to what I was talking about, man. But thanks for the call.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and just sell the young. Look, I refuse to be the old nigga that sell the young generation out. I used to see that shit when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I used to always wonder why the grown people are talking about us and when we don't control shit. So I'm gonna say that it's a 2-part play. Yes, the kids are sensitive, and yes, the parents of the last 30 years, you niggas made them that way. Not all of y'all. Not all of y'all. But again, I started working with kids as a 14-year-old at King Drew Medical Center in 1995 when I started being a youth tutor. That's when my journey started. I coached AAU basketball from 2005 to 2013. I saw the shit happen right in front of me. I worked for the Department of Mental Health from 2009 to 2020. I saw what you niggas was doing. Y'all was bubble wrapping y'all kids. Let's tell the whole truth. We ain't about to sit here and just point at the kids. You old niggas my age and older, y'all were bubble wrapping your children. You don't cuss around them. They're 16. Motherfucker's 16. The fuck is you talking about? Don't cuss around like, yeah, my grandfather's are, from the first times my ears were open, my grandfather was calling me, "Hey, little motherfucker," when I was 2, 3. "Hey, little motherfucker, turn the TV channel. You little fat ass, need to lose some goddamn weight anyway. Turn to the Dodger game, Channel 9. Hey, little fat fuck, turn to the Channel 5 news." Like, the kids can take it. You got kids that are 10 years old, still can't watch. You don't expose them to nothing. You got these little niggas. I remember when I had kids when I was younger, when I was working with kids, 10 kids, 12 years old, still got Dora the Explorer on. Like, yes, it's a generation of sensitive kids that was raised by a generation of punk ass parents that bubble wrap their kids. So like, I ain't having no kids in it. It's like, man, I ain't having no kids in this world. You niggas bubble wrap your kids and then cry to everybody sensitive. Right, we started raising our kids like white folks. Now the laws helped. The laws made it it was certain laws that went in to play that made parents be a little bit more sensitive. But a lot of y'all could have resisted, and y'all didn't. Real talk, L Biddy. She said parents reward their kids for opening their eyes in the morning. Right. Right. So I'm not about to sit here and just dump on the kids. Punk ass kids have punk ass parents. No offense. But we ain't gonna just punch down on children. Children react to the environment that adults create. 1 always comes before 2. 2 always comes before 3. The adult creates the environment. The child comes into said environment and learns how to respond to that environment. And that's why, like, and I'm gonna get back to the last topic. We're about to jump over to the last topic. Before I get to the last topic, Um. Oh shit! This is one of my part. I got a new tenant moving in. Oh lord! Oh lord! Oh lord! Oh lord! Which building is this? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. This is very important because I just got a new tenant, and I got to make sure that. One second. One second, y'all. I'll give me like. I told y'all I managed 35 units, right? Hold on one second, y'all. We're going to be back in 1 second. All right, there you go. Told y'all I'm a hustler, baby. I am a hustler. So I'll be having 3 or 4 things going on at one time. My bad, y'all. Appreciate the super chat. Said, keep doing what you're doing, brother, and keep bringing logic. We need it. H-Town in the house. Much love to Cali. And keep teaching Black American music history. Our young people need it. I appreciate that, dog. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get the name of this check. I got a new tenant, but there's a new building that I just took over, and I don't know who to tell them to make the check out to. I know the person. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Copy. Paste. There we go. All right, cool. Business is handled. Back to talking about y'all. I ain't got an assistant outside of ChatGPT to handle this kind of stuff. So where were we? Thank y'all for being patient with me as I handle all this shit at once. Cool. Yeah, I got a new building, but I don't know the tool to tell this tenant to make that. I don't know the name of the official name of the corporation that the checks go to. Okay. Courtney G, I appreciate the Cash App. I appreciate the Cash App. So let's go. Let's go to it. Let's get in. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. So where were we? Where were we? Yeah, hit me on the tie. Hit me on the Cash App. $ Dewan B1. Hit me on the Cash App. Appreciate that, Kendall. Appreciate that. B Amos. Appreciate the super chat. Out here hustling apartments like Bookman. Hey, I'm a hustler. I get it in. I ain't gonna allow one avenue because I talk a lot of shit here on YouTube. If they take away my YouTube, I gotta make sure my money's covered. And I talk a lot of shit on YouTube. If some of my off YouTube shit gets fucked up, I gotta make sure I got money doing something else. Develop young folks. I'm 44 now. I've been developing these skills my whole life. I bought my first property at 23. You dig what I'm saying? So I've been developing this for 21 years now. So is that always develop your skills. Always develop your skills. When you get to your 40s, you'll be happy. You have a lot of things that you can pull from and draw from if you start cultivating your skills in your teens. I started teaching myself how to play the drums at 13. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how you avoid having to sell drugs to your people. That's how you avoid having to rob somebody to make an income, by developing and honing your skills. So let's keep going to it. So now I want to get to, let's close off what we were saying about Pam and Martin and Ari Lennox. Let's put a button on that, and then we're gonna get to the last topic. When it comes down to it, Ari Lennox, the way I perceive it is that was her projecting her insecurities onto Pam. And a lot of people do that. That's why you see something happen on TV and people be like, well, what I would have did. Fuck what you would have did, because you wasn't in the situation. When you see stuff happen, our job is to observe. There's going to be positive, there's going to be negative. Everything has a positive and negative, including your battery. Only way your battery works, you see that there? That's a positive charge. Only when a battery has a positive charge and a negative charge can it be a battery. All positive will not make this thing go. The same way all negative won't make these things go. You have to have a balance between the positive and the negative. Negative doesn't necessarily mean bad. Positive doesn't necessarily mean good. A lot of things that feel good are really bad for you. A lot of things that feel bad or you don't like are really good for you. When I'm done with this broadcast, I am going to do a Twitter space at 6 o'clock. I'm going to do a Twitter space. So follow me on Twitter. Gina Calhoun, I appreciate the Cash App. I'm going to do a Twitter space. And when I'm done with the Twitter space, I'm going to go to the gym and lift some weights. And lifting them weights going to the gym is going to be very negative. I don't want to go. I don't want to lift them weights. I don't want to get out of breath on that motherfucking elliptical. I don't want to do none of that shit. Negative, negative, negative. But when I leave, Lord, I'm going to feel so positive. I'm going to be tight, but I'm going to feel it's going to be a positive thing. So we can't get caught up in positive and negative and all that shit. It just is what it is. It's your job to just take it all in. You're right. That's why I hate hypotheticals too, because hypotheticals ain't gonna really get you where you need to go. Yeah, like Larry said, sugar feels great, but it kills folks. And like with Larry feels good talking shit to me, but I'll kill that nigga with these hands. Yeah, and that'll feel good. Now it'll be negative. I might go to jail, but I'm willing to go to jail to beat that whole ass nigga named Larry Goodwell. I hope that pissed you off, nigga. I don't like Larry, but that's a positive thing because I don't like hoe ass niggas. So a negative, I don't. Let's break down. I don't like Larry Goodwell. Me not liking Larry Goodwell makes that a negative. But Larry Goodwell is a hoe ass nigga. I don't like hoe ass niggas, and that's positive. So it's a positive that I don't like Larry Goodwell because Larry Goodwell is a hoe ass nigga. See how that works? Oh, Rocky right here, see Diggs? Rocky been here the whole time. Rocky been sitting right here the whole time we've been live. The last hour and 20 minutes. He chilling. So now let's get to the last part. I was watching, I was scrolling through IG.
In environments where you got to.
And this came up. They were responding. The Viral Ray podcast was responding to something that Glasses Malone said, and that they said about this whole situation with this going on with Doechii and Aiden Ross. You know, that's taken on a lot. That's taken on a lot of attention this last couple weeks. And yesterday here on YouTube, there was this, on the community clips page, there was something, they had a group chat where they were basically going over what was said about what Glasses Malone said and what Jason Martin said and AD, and they were going over the whole situation that we've been covering all week. If you've been watching my broadcast all week, you're up to date on this whole situation. So there's been more fallout in this group chat. It was they said something about the Viral Ray podcast, and the Viral Ray responded.
But that ain't the real him.
And in this they were talking about what's going on, and there was also a point to where Glasses and was saying that, you know, this is something new. We just now talking about this is something new that we're talking about, and wasn't nobody else talking about this. And then the Viral Ray podcast, they responded.
Misconstrued off of that one video. Even in the one video, I don't understand.
Listen, this is the
because
Viral
I
Ray.
clearly said your name and said I'm standing on what he's standing on. Even though I do understand where my brother is coming from, but right now, it's bigger than this. And we've been knowing this. This ain't nothing different. All of us on the panel, we all know. Because we the most disrespected on the internet. We the most disrespected in the workplace. We the most disrespected when we step outside. And then we act like we don't and they don't think we put BTA to people in real life. So this internet plays a different perspective, and we know this ain't the way. But like we said, nigga, keep it across the board. Don't just get mad over a fucking streamer, nigga. These Mexicans been hopping out here talking crazy about us. These white people all over the internet talking crazy. Niggas don't have no rebuttal. Niggas talking about this is where it starts. We've been pushing that. Maybe we don't got the same reach, but it been started with us. And that's just where I'll leave it at that.
Right, like y'all.
This is Artist Life. This is one of his IG channels that I got this clip from. Y'all follow Artist Life. Put your social media tags up in the chat so they can follow you. I like his channel. He takes a lot of stuff that's what's going on. So they made a good point. And they made a point that I did not make when I was talking about the whole Glass situation. That it's been a lot of us out here spending on business for a long time. What we see with Glasses and a lot of these guys, they're hopping in on Aiden Ross. Is it because he talked about Doechii? They made a very good point right here. A point that I didn't make. So salute to the Viral Way podcast. Y'all in the chat, y'all been telling me to check them out. But did y'all make this stance because it was over Doechii? Why can't Black Americans make this stance when it comes to somebody that's outside of your ecosystem? We know glasses is very, very, very tied to the TDE ecosystem. And again, I'm 100% with glasses, calling Aiden Ross out. I'm always with the shits when it comes to people calling out our people. I'm always with the shits when it comes to that. But yes, it's a new day, but don't make it seem as if you're doing something when you're doing it because this all started to happen over your people. Not over black people, but over your people. Again, I've never really watched. I want to start watching the Viral Way. A lot of y'all in the chat, y'all been telling me to watch them, and based on this clip, I haven't really watched them, but based on this clip, I'm gonna start watching them. But listen to more of what he said right here.
All niggas is late on the train. Y'all forget where we from? Long Beach, California. Do your history on race relations between blacks and everybody else in Long Beach, specifically the racist Hispanics. Y'all want to talk about trooping and crashing? Go look up the '05 riots. Y'all remember they put the green light on the blacks? Go look at the response that Long Beach had. We was outside trooping during that time. Not on the internet. It wasn't no podcast. So y'all niggas talking to these other niggas when y'all talking about, oh man, niggas just on the internet with the mics. Nigga, we been trooping in real life. Not just talking. Y'all not talking to no goofies. That's why I'm saying all that making threats of violence on the internet, we don't need to do that. When it's time to move, it's time to move. Check the track records. Since Viral Way came on the scene, no other podcast has talked as much pro-black content as we have.
And that's not true.
Nobody. I don't give a fuck. Name any of them from the top to the bottom.
Craig Facts. And I like what he's saying. I like what he's saying, but I also saw when I was watching this one here with Glasses and Jason Martin, they were saying that we're the first. Everyone now is the first. I'm not gonna get into who was the first, but I will say that when I was on Craig Facts back in 2020, I brought this heat back then. I didn't get on the YouTube until 2020. And y'all, for those of you who were around when I was on Craig Facts, yeah, no. And when I was on in the years during the pandemic, those Craig Facts videos, with those from 2020 till about mid 2022, we were getting more views than all these motherfuckers. All right. That Craig Facts 2020, really in 2021, we was getting what? 50 to 90,000 views an episode every Tuesday and Thursday. And matter of fact, Glasses came on Craig Facts one of the times. Glasses came on Craig Facts one of the times. So, yeah, no, I won't say the whole, but when I was on that, we were doing it. But it's not about getting who was the first to do it. It's not about who was the first to do it. It's about the message getting out. And we need, because the reason why I don't want to get into who was the first to do it, because I don't want to discourage anybody that feels in a spirit that they ready to change lanes and come over here talking about this. I don't want nobody to not feel comfortable doing that because all they gonna hear is a whole bunch of niggas saying this was we was doing it first. No different than church. Yeah, any of y'all raised in church? And y'all raised in church? I've been going to this church for 20 years. I'm like, well, cool, but welcome to new people. Just because you've been going there for 20 years don't mean that, But, and before me, you had Professor Black Truth talking about it. You had Jason Black talking about it. You had Tariq Nasheed talking about it. You go back to Dr. Claude Anderson, been talking like this since the 70s. We can keep going back. There's always been a lineage of black people talking like this. Ain't nobody the first. So I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't want to get caught up in that.
Period. That's just point blank, especially as far as the West Coast go. A lot of people called us Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Y'all niggas too serious. Y'all forgot? Just
And
a couple
now niggas is coons. That shit crazy.
the cool niggas is the niggas who be sitting with them niggas. The niggas who was calling us Malcolm X. Oh, that's little Malcolm, always preaching. Now all of a sudden your homeboys is on the same type of time because niggas finally waking their game up. Now niggas want to forget that. Nah, we ain't forgot, nigga. Niggas was trying to insult us, telling us we're too pro-black. All you got to do is go run the footage back. That's the thing about YouTube. Once you upload a video, it's time.
So they made a good point on here, and I'm not gonna play their whole video. Go back and follow this Wapulation IG feed. He always has good clips that he puts up. Follow his IG. Y'all see it right here. It's not about who had it first or who doing it first. It's about the substance of the topic. And I just heard my neighbor say some funny shit. But you said newly awoke. Yeah, we like. It's the reason why channels like mine aren't featured in the algorithm. It's because I came out the gate talking like this. My channel never talked about anything that wasn't pro-black from its inception, June 2020. June 2020 was when I first decided to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to take YouTube serious. But it's not about first, it's about bringing it up. And we seeing people talking about this, but the viral podcast, they made a good point. They said that, y'all, because I always watch a little bit of Glasses in the video, they were saying that they support academics. They support Kai Cenat. And academics and Kai Cenat are two people who've said all kind of crazy shit about black Americans. I'm going to need, see, the thing is this. A lot of people who've had, when it comes to that, the mainstream stuff, and when I say mainstream is any podcast that's sponsored by Prize Picks, DraftKings, what's the other one? Manscaped, all these different stuff. The people who have the access, the sponsored podcasts get featured a little bit higher in the algorithm. The people who have the record deals, what we're seeing is a lot of these people are starting to come over and they're starting to see what time it really is, and they're responding to the environment. But the reason why there's such a backlash to Aiden Ross, because there's so many brothers and sisters talking like this, African Diaspora Network. How dare anybody say that they've been talking about this for a long time and not acknowledge Phil Scott and the African Diaspora Network, Vicky Dillard. You can go down the line. You can go down the line. But the confusion comes in when you wait until somebody in the mainstream that you like gets targeted by these white supremacists. Now you pro-black. Mr. Viral had a really good point. You can't sit around and wait just because somebody in the mainstream that you like got targeted. When people talk about black Americans, it's glove off. Whether they have white skin or whether they have black skin. If they talk about black Americans, it's gloves off. You can't be mincing words with these people. Anyone bold enough to talk about black people the way academics talks about black people. If y'all notice, and I hate to say it in underdog sports, but I hate to say it, but academics is still dancing circles around all these people. And I can't stand academics. But dancing academics in 2025 made Back on Fig look stupid. He made the community people look stupid. he made all you niggas look silly. Why? Because academics understands the racial dynamic better than you. Better than most quote unquote foundational black Americans. He understands the assignment. You don't. There's no talking to your brother academics. He doesn't see you as your brother. Now, because you have some level of notoriety, he's going to listen to you and give you some attention that he wouldn't give had you not had that notoriety. But he's not your brother. And he's made that very clear. I'm Jamaican. And if you say, yeah, but you still black, you could say that till you blue in the face. But what did academics do when time came to it? He went right over the team with that white boy. Because he understands the dynamic. He understands that he's not you. And he's going to take his chances with whiteness. Because people who delineate themselves from blackness, that's always the next step. You can predict their moves. You can plan out their moves. You see their moves coming from 15,000 goddamn miles away. And academics has been dancing circles around LA podcasts. Because LA podcasts are more so focused on gang politics and not politics. Social politics, racial politics. Social and racial politics supersede gang politics. Gang politics is somewhere here on the bottom level. You got world geopolitical view, the world. You got geopolitics, the world. You got the politics, meaning written laws of a country. And you also got the social politics, meaning implied law. And racism deals somewhere in the middle between written and implied law, mostly on the implied law. And then under implied law nationally, you got local politics, your state, your federal, your city. You also have racial dynamic politics. Every politic also has a racial dynamic and component to it. And once you get past that, then you get down to whatever your group politics. Me personally, I got to deal with musician politics, comedy world politics, the politics of children's behaviors from my professions. If you're not in that world, some people you got to deal with barbershop politics if that's your profession. Some people got to deal with politics in the engineering field. And in that same world is gang politics. Gang politics is right. It's just basically what you're dealing with in your social dynamic day to day, whether it be from your job or your social environment. But all of that is under city, state, federal, national, and geopolitics. So if you limit yourself to gang politics, you're missing the real game that's happening. Again, I'm not here to be critical. You can live life however you want to live it on whatever level you choose to live it. But if you limit yourself to gang and street politics, you're way down line. And it's the politics that's over the gang politics that dictates how gang politics are run. Let me give you an example. Hey, Rocky. Let me give you an example. Rocky just woke up. You awake now, Rocky? The people wanted to see you. Rocky been asleep the last hour and a half. He been asleep the last hour and a half. He just woke up for y'all. Rocky was like, y'all want to see me? Here I am. You see them, Rocky? You look at the chat. Look at the chat. You see the chat? You see the chat? They wanted to see you, Rocky. All right, you good? All right, let's go. But let me give you an example on how city, state, and local and federal politics dictate gang politics. A lot of gangs in LA and nationwide, by the way, no longer exist as far as territory. Question: why don't these gangs exist as far as territory? Because city, state, and federal politics designated that area to be gentrified. And so the people who ran these said blocks are no longer on these blocks. And it's been going on for a long time. I used to go to this church over here called Zoe Christian Fellowship. Well, now that's where I learned, where I taught myself how to play the drums. Oh, it's Jefferson. Where's Adams? Here it is. Right here. This is where I used to go to church. It's no longer a church. It's now called Zoe Lofts. But this used to be a church called Zoe Christian Fellowship. Some white folks bought it and renamed it the Zoe Lofts. All right? And we used to have a lot of gunshots that happened at church, around church. I mean, it was always some shit going on. We'd be in church hearing Tech 9s and AK-47s get rattled off. A major reason why those shots got rattled off was because there was a gang over here called Gear Street. And in the 90s, this was Gear Street was an all-black block. And these were some notorious niggas. These were some notorious motherfuckers. Gear Street, Smiley Drive. You don't want to get caught walking down Smiley Drive in 1992. But city politics said, you know what? I'm tired of niggas being over here. We're going to start pushing Mexicans over here. And city policy started driving Mexicans into this area. And then after a while, it got flooded with so many Mexicans, the black people who claimed these blocks could no longer live on these blocks. And now the politics has changed. They're kicking the Mexicans off the block and they're bringing in white people and Asians. And they've, for the most part, gentrified the neighborhood. A neighborhood that when I was a kid, I wouldn't be caught alive walking down this street because it was too dangerous. But the politics of the city says you niggas gotta go. So as tough as the gangland is, when the city said, okay, enough is enough, bye, all you niggas had to go. That's why you gotta understand more than just the gang politics. The real street politics happens in the office. Nuri Martinez, do y'all remember Nuri Martinez and Kevin De Leon when they said that racist stuff like, we're gonna take it from the blacks? I talked about this before. And this is why, like, I don't even, like, DeJuan Brown cannot tell you whose gang belongs on which block. I only know about Gear Gang because most of them niggas went to my church. I don't know the difference. I don't know where the Mason-Dixon line is between the 40s and the 60s. And I was raised over there. I manage property over here. I'm over this motherfucker all the time. I can't tell you the Mason-Dixon line between these niggas. I can't. So I just don't wear a baseball cap. In LA, don't wear no baseball caps. I don't wear baseball caps because I don't know which neighborhood is cool to wear a Pittsburgh Pirates hat in versus which neighborhood is worth. I know the 60s is the Seattle Mariners. I know that the 8 Trays is the Astros, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck because them niggas ain't running shit. Let me tell you who's running it. When Nuri Martinez and Kevin De Leon and those people got together and they were saying, you know, we got to do this to step out the blacks. What they were doing, for those of you who don't know what was going on, USC right here. USC, the zone that it's in, the taxes that USC generate go to support this district, the Crenshaw district. This is one of the last surviving mostly black districts in LA. And the taxes from USC go to support this area. And as they should, because when you look at the jungles, going back into politics, niggas, when I was scared to walk in the jungles when I was a kid. Why? Because them BPS niggas had it on lock. Then the city came in and said, you know what? We want to turn the jungles, into housing for USC. So now when you go over here in the jungles, these same neighborhoods that terrorized me when I was a kid are full of USC students. This is now basically USC. So while niggas was cousin and blood in this and cousin and blood in that, the city said, I'm taking this land from all you niggas. So going back to Nuri Martinez and politics, Kevin De Leon, Nuri Martinez, and all of them got together to take USC and rezone USC to where the tax revenue raised at USC now covers their area up here in Echo Park, up here in Highland Park. So now the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars generated by USC that used to go to this black neighborhood, now those resources go to this Mexican neighborhood. And Kevin De Leon, Nuri Martinez had a backdoor meeting to change the zoning so that their neighborhood got the funding and the black neighborhood didn't. And they did that shit along racial lines. Only for those of us black people who are smart enough to know that this world is bigger than some fucking gang politics. Only for us to have to sit back and watch this shit play out. And now my parents still live in the Crenshaw district. So now money allocated to their properties that they own in that area go somewhere else. And then and now those of us who were civilians, those of us who grew up and lived in the same blocks you gang niggas lived on, now all of us got to deal with a lack of resources, and we're not going to get no support from you and help from you to help clean this shit up. I look at Brandy in my chat room. We dealing with goddamn reparations over here. Brandy's always down here in Lambert Park fighting for reparations. Right here. You can see Brandy Kane up and down this motherfucker all day fighting for reparations. Dana Dorsey, one of my mods in the chat. Friday. You're going to see them over here fighting for shit all the time. And we don't get no help from none of you gang niggas. None of y'all. Y'all can't even repeat this shit on y'all podcast that we fighting for reparations. You gonna get them too, nigga. But we gotta listen to you niggas talk about who block did what. You niggas is getting in the way. I mean, for real. You niggas are getting in the way of the nitty gritty. We could use y'all help. We could use the street niggas help. It would be better if the street niggas could come and help and push this agenda along. But y'all so tied up in the goddamn gang politics, real politics is kicking us in the ass. So tied up in gang politics, real politics is fucking us up. We get fucked. And what do we got to hear? We got to hear the gang niggas saying, oh no, the Mexicans, they the homies. Again, I ain't got no issue with Mexicans in general, but I do have an issue with not one prominent Mexican spoke up for spoke out against Nuri Martinez and Kevin De Leon and the other one, I keep forgetting his name, the third one, when they removed this tax base from this black area. Nobody came up and said nothing about that. Oh man, see, when you stuck on a gang level, everybody's the homies. Well, in politics, it ain't no homies. It's people that we hired to the legislature to do a job for us that we can use all hands on deck. The streets and the sidewalks during this time, especially during rapid gentrification, the streets and the sidewalk niggas need to be holding hands. The streets and the sidewalks need to be collabing. This is what's really going on. But I know about this. I can't tell you what gang patrols Western and 54th. I probably drive past Western and 54th 3 times a week. You think I can tell you what gang patrols this area? Hell no. Because at the end of the day, whatever gang patrols this area, they ain't running shit. Did not one gang approve these permits? No one had to go to a Crip or a Blood to approve permits for this apartment building. Nobody. So when you stuck in gang politics, you missing what's really going on in your city. And you become someone who only reacts to what's going on in your city. Not proactive. I got land my family owns right over here in this area. I can't tell you what gang patrols Main Street and 66. But I can tell you who owns some of these buildings. I can tell you which ones I got. I can tell you the city councilman I got to talk to if I need something done. And that's where we miss it as a people. If anyone wants to call in 323 705 5150. Yeah. Oh, I just got to okay. Sorry about that. Another email from my property. I got some rental assistance company trying to get in contact with me for one of my tenants. Sorry about that, y'all. I just got an email and got to help one of my tenants out. When my tenants be needing some help, I'll be saying, "Hey, it's a program over here. Go try your luck." So it looks like one of my tenants I referred to for some rental assistance from my building in Lamert Park. It looks like they're going to get it. I don't want to evict them. I hate evicting people, but I will. My tenants need some help. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Brooke from Brooklyn.
Brooke from Brooklyn. What's on your mind?
Yo, I just wanted to tell you, that I'm going to say speech that you just gave, you got me in tears. Hearing how passionate you were about your city and your area and how people aren't focused on the right things. Please clip that up and put that up. That was powerful, brother.
I appreciate that.
I'm literally in tears thinking about I've seen the clips of the city council meetings where they were trying to backdoor you guys and you are so right. They're paying attention to all these things that don't matter and not clicking up with the people they should be clicking up with.
Right.
I just wanted to say that I don't want to ramble, and you see I'm a little emotional about what you said, so I'm gonna go with that. And
but I get why. For those of you who don't know who's on the phone, is Brooke Brooke is one of the people that's really heading the state of New York, their reparations claim in New York. She's one of the main people on it. So she's someone that's at the courthouse. She wants someone who's at the city hall. She's the one talking to the politicians in New York about reparations for black people. And I'm proud to say I know her through here. I'm proud to say that she listens to my show because these people like Brooke in New York, people like Friday Jones here in LA, and it's these people who go unsung, never spoken on, never talked about. They never get a microphone. They never get a camera. They're the ones when shit pays off in the long run. Like we talk about Martin Luther King, but we don't talk about Fannie Lou Hamer. It's so many thousands of people that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X stood. They stood on the shoulders of giants. It was thousands of people like Brooke that did the work from the 1920s through 1963 for Martin Luther King to shine. And black people, we do a horrible job of highlighting these people. So she feels the way she feels because she's somebody that feels the way I feel, and she's on the front line. So I want to let you know that we do see you out here, Brooke, and we need more of you. Because the only way this shit gonna happen is if we get more Brooks, less of these niggas that's talking about gang politics and the politics of the streets. We don't need no more of that shit.
You're absolutely right about that, and it's so crazy because on your end you're dealing with that, and on my end I'm dealing with Pan Africanists because this is the Pan African capital.
Yeah,
I'm
New
dealing
York
with
is.
Pan Africanists, and I'm dealing with melanated enemies. You know what I mean? So it's crazy to see like who is opposing us and doing what we have to do. And yeah, like I said, make sure you clip that up, okay? Because that needs to go everywhere, okay?
Appreciate
and
that.
I will repost it wherever you put it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, can I just put my email?
Yeah, do that.
Okay, everybody, send the emails to our legislators. I'm not going to go too long. Just go to the link bit.ly/Bruck call to action. That's BREUCK call to action. And everything is labeled there. It's very clear and transparent because I don't want to take too long explaining what each email does, but there are 5 of them. Make sure you send all 5. They are pre-written, so you don't have to worry about what to say. And those go to our legislators. And yeah, please send those emails. And thank you so much for letting me do that. And like I said, clip that up. I can't wait.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you. And I'm always in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. Yeah, it's like even when I was watching the community podcast and they were talking about, oh, we the first ones, we the only ones. Nah, brothers. We been out here talking like this, y'all. That's why I don't want nobody going around. Like, I'm not even going to claim. No, it doesn't matter who's first to it. All that matters is that we do it. But if you're going to be on this side of the fence, it can't just be when somebody from your label mate or somebody who's down with the artist that you like gets the target. This is a principle that you stand on no matter who. But at the same time, while they were talking like with going back to the Viral Way podcast, they were talking about how them brothers was still standing, the other brothers was still standing up for academics and Kai Sanat and these people. And like what Brooke said, when it comes to our reparations fight, you may see, okay, that's just another black man. But those of us who are on the front line, the same way some of y'all was on the front line of the streets, a lot of us are on the front line of what's really going on out here on this earth. And what's really going on, those of us on the front line of reparations, we keep running up against opposition of people who look like us. Before we even get to the white people, it's plenty of academics in the political world. It's plenty of Kai Sanats. Before you even get to the Aiden Rosses, you got to deal with niggas from other parts of the diaspora telling black Americans what we don't need. So, out of all due respect, but some situations, the street guys are going to have to take a back seat to the sidewalk niggas. Because the sidewalk niggas have experiences that y'all ain't ready for yet that's going to help you as you start to leave that gang experience and come into the real world. The sidewalk niggas got something to say, and we've been dealing with this shit for far too long to let somebody who hasn't been dealing with it come in to try to rewrite the rules. We dealing with enemies of all skin tones. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? My name is Brandon. I'm calling from Arizona. Everybody call me Thoughts, though.
What's up, Brandon? Your phone's a
But
little low. Speak up a little bit if you can.
can you? I got you on speak. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I'm Brandon. I'm calling from Arizona, but everybody call me Thoughts. I'm from Long Beach, but I've been out here for a minute. But yeah, I was actually talking about. I was gonna say something about the lady getting ran over in Minnesota or Minneapolis, wherever it was at.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it puts us in a messed up position as, you know, black folks that's used to seeing, you know, police agencies and the government handling us a certain way, you know, and it's like I want to be able to speak on it. I think other people do without feeling like we're trying to defend this lady, because when I seen that moment, I didn't necessarily, I didn't care about that person, but I see what they always do to us. Maybe they should have just complied. Maybe they should have did this. And yeah, I understand parts of that. But at the same time, you said earlier too, the dude that got ran over, he had a previous situation where he was in front of somebody else's car and got drugged. How do you put yourself in that situation twice? If I'm in a situation where I'm in front of somebody's car, whatever situation will happen, and I get drugged by a car, the next time I'm not standing in front of no car telling nobody to do nothing, knowing what happened last time, unless I have it in my brain to say, all right, next time I ain't letting that happen. Let me stand in front of your car, try to run me over, I'm gonna shoot you. That's what it felt like he did. It felt like he had some kind of like vendetta, or he wanted to get back to what happened to him previously, and he was able to do that under the guise of, well, my life was in danger, or I felt like, you know, she was doing something wrong to me. When really you put yourself in that situation. You know what I mean?
Let me cut you off a little bit.
Go ahead.
Why was he in that situation?
You mean the
officer?
About the first time or second time?
Both times. Why? Both times. Why was the officer in the situation? Let me tell you.
I don't know.
Let me answer it for you. Because that's his job. His job is to be in the way. That's what his training tells him to do. And when you watch the second video, again, I didn't watch the part up until he shot her, but he wasn't directly in front of the car. He's off to the side because that's what his job tells him to do. Now, he has to get home to his family. That's why at the end of the day, if it's me or you, at the end of the day, life is going to be self-preservation is the first rule of nature. If you're telling somebody to go against self-preservation, damn a job. You telling them to go against nature. That's why I don't have too much patience for women like her. Because at the end of the day, I'm a big black man. You don't think I know you understand this too. You definitely understand this as a black man. If one hair on your head is out of place in a tense situation, it's probably going to mean your life. We understand this. When somebody has a gun drawn on you, you've already lost. So you should know that. And I don't know this woman. I don't know her politics. But I do know that 99 times out of 100, people, roles reverse. If I'm in that car driving and the police officer has gun out, 99.9% of the time, somebody that looks like her is going to say, well, he should have complied.
Right.
Well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Next story. That's how I see it.
Now, I get that. I'm looking at it because I know you said earlier I'm thinking about my own self-preservation.
You can't put yourself in that situation because your black ass know that they'll kill your ass. You're not a white woman.
Not from the white woman perspective, but the officer, right? So if I'm an officer, right, and I'm
here's another thing, and here's the reason why I don't even want to entertain that, because you're not the officer and you don't have his training. That officer went through a set of training modules to where even though he was dragged 50 yards, his job said that he was competent to go return back to work. I'm sure he went to got a psych eval and all that stuff. The psych eval, the doctors, they said he's good to go back to work. They have a protocol how to deal with those situations. So unless you were trained in that protocol, you literally cannot say what you would do because you don't know what the protocol is. So
True.
we're gonna
But I mean,
that ends up
go
becoming
ahead.
a circular conversation that leads to no constructive result. That's why I don't have the conversation.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, what's the result? You're gonna still think the way you think. I'm gonna still think the way I think. End of the day, we as black people, that mental energy that we're spending on her, that can be spent addressing us.
Right. And I'm not for spending energy on her. I'm talking about just like you. Like we've had these conversations, we go on about our business. I ain't marching for nobody. I'm just thinking in my head. Again, I hear you. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't know if the protocol is to stand directly in front of the car. I don't know if it's to stand to the side. You know what I mean? But I'm just thinking in my head. It'd be hard to say situational awareness. This individual is not a terrorist. They're not an immigrant. Clearly,
You don't.
right? So,
But they're a threat. They're in a car. They're a threat. If someone has a car and they're targeting you, they're down now. It becomes a life and death situation, fight or flight. You don't have. What you got to understand is how the brain works. When you're under threat, you're in your reptilian brain. Your processing centers in your frontal cortex. Your brain don't send signals to your processing center when you're in a fight or flight response. You're either in fight or flight. Fight or flight. That's just a natural thing that none of us control. Not me, not you, not Kobe Bryant, not Will Chamberlain, not nobody. You're in fight or flight when somebody is coming at you and you feel under the threat that you can possibly lose your life. That's why, again, people say, well, you should have just complied. After that, that's where entitlement comes in. That's a whole nother situation. While we talking about him, why did she feel entitled enough to drive off when the law is saying don't do so? What entitlement existed in her to resist people? Because before she got to that officer, there was the officer before it. That person was talking to her in a very kind manner. I did see that video. He was talking to her very nicely. Ma'am, just stay here. It's okay. And she was smiling. She was told in a very nice way, in a much more pleasant way than me or you would have been told.
Right.
She still made her decision.
I get you. I just feel like I'm a hypocrite if I say on one end that when it comes
life
to,
is hypocritical.
Again, I think it's hypocritical for me to say like, look, I know maybe the individual didn't comply or not, but not complying.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's not hypocritical. Because it ain't your business.
Well, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about dealing with the cops. Like I said, when I'm thinking about the situation, I'm thinking about how we get dealt with. I'm not caping for her. I'm talking about how the things are said when we don't comply and we get killed or we get shot.
Again, this is what you're missing. This is what I'm missing. I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, so please don't take this disrespectful. I appreciate you for calling in.
You good? I ain't sensitive, man. Go ahead.
In this situation, you are irrelevant. You can't be hypocritical because this ain't got nothing to do with you. This is a situation that between these are the same white folks that voted this man in. These are the same white folks that was okay with seeing all these Somalis come over, and all them black people that was in Minnesota listening to Prince back in the 80s, they couldn't get these jobs, so these people can come over there. They was fine with all that. This is literally has nothing. You're not a hypocrite. You're not, because this ain't got a damn thing to do with you. This is something that they wanted, and now they want this man in office. This is they shit. Black people didn't vote for them to come, didn't ask for millions of Somalis to come here. Black people ain't got no control over what ICE do. Black people ain't got no control over ICE's policies. Black people have literally nothing to say. Ain't no black governor. Ain't no black high ups at ICE that make the decisions. It ain't a black. You're not being a hypocrite because it doesn't have anything to do with you. It would be like me saying, "Oh, it's hypocritical that somebody on Mars don't have a chance to get a day job." What the fuck I got to do with Mars? Nothing. So just it's a cool story, and I get why I get
I get.
feeling a certain way. But my advice, brother, just let it go. It ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, you're right. And again, I may, like you said earlier, we live vicariously through it. I see that situation, and I'm not thinking about. I'm just thinking about how we get talked about. So that's what
And
my
you know
mind's
what's
going.
gonna
I get what
happen?
you're saying.
They gonna talk about us regardless. They lynch black people wearing suits who own businesses. Ain't nothing we can do to not for us not to get talked about.
Right, right.
All right,
I hear what
brother.
you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Thanks for giving us a
I hear
call,
you.
man.
All right.
Yeah, black folks, it ain't a damn thing we can do to not get talked about. They gonna talk shit to us regardless and about us regardless. Okay? But what y'all need to do is y'all need to follow my TikTok because I'm gonna be doing some musical stuff over on TikTok pretty soon. I might do some tonight. But like I said, I wish that woman was still alive because she got kids. You know what I mean? I'm not. But people at the end of the day, people make their own decisions. And that's why I talked about what was going on with her. And then I jumped right back into our business. We got a whole lot of racial confusion in Black America. Racial confusion is running wild. Not only when it comes to the black-white dynamic, but when it comes to the dynamic between other black people here throughout the diaspora. We got reparations that we need to be focused on. Y'all heard Brooke put up them emails. And Brooke, type those email addresses again down in the comments. All right? We got a lot of business to handle as black people. People make their own decisions. And it's the same way with black folks. We know what time it is. If I see the police out there doing and wilding out, and it's some nigga that come running in front of the police talking about something, you ain't gonna shoot me, and the police shoot him, you know what I'm gonna say? That nigga should have known better. We got all this stuff that we really worried about and dealing with, and I gotta deal with a nigga that don't know what time it is in 2025. I believe in treating black people the same way. We gotta know what time it is. If my grandma used to always say, don't give the devil a stick to hit you over the head with. We gotta watch who we fight for. I'm gonna fight for the person that didn't give the devil a stick to hit them over the head with. The person that was really because we got a lot of black folks minding our own goddamn business getting messed up. Why would I fight for a nigga that said, here you go, devil, here's a stick, now hit me in the head? Well, that nigga made a choice. I can't fight for you. Gotta be smart about who I fight for. This is gonna be my last call. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Uncle Dewan? This is DJ Lundy from Cincinnati, Ohio. How you doing, man?
DJ from Cincinnati. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh, no, I just want to testimony with you. I came across your channel about at least 3 years ago. I ain't know who you was at first. I'm a young brother. I'm 35 years old. Ever since I listened to you, I mean, you just changed me for who I am, and I just want to appreciate you, and I thank you for that.
I
I
appreciate
always
that.
give you love in the chat room and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At first, I was kind of like judgmental when it comes to things like that, but you're the reason that gave me hope. You're the reason who made me who I am today, as an individual when it comes to, not to argue with another person, when it comes to opinions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of nervous, so I'm just taking my time and things like that. Forgive me.
All good.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, man. You made me for who I am, became a better man, stuff like that. I grew up in a single home with a single mom, never had a good relationship with my father, but like I said again, you the reason one, made me become a man who I am today. And that's why I always call you Unc, though, because you like an uncle to me. You always give me some game. I sit there and I listen. I talk to you. I mean, you talk to me. You feel like you talk to me and stuff like that. And I just want to say I thank you and I appreciate you. And I'm always gonna be, listen to you. If I ever meet you in person, I just want to shake your hand and just show you some love.
I
So
appreciate
that's
that,
all I
dog.
gotta say. Yeah, no problem. You
Much
have a good one.
love. Thanks again. I appreciate
Yep,
that.
no problem.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do it for the kids. No, I'm saying. But no, I do that because I know I spent so much of my life working with youth. I just saw certain parts that was missing. And when I created my platform, I was like, I want to be able to use my time that I'm speaking to people to speak to some of the areas and gaps that I've seen in all my years working with folks. And instead of crying, because I don't believe in crying and bitching about a problem all day. Either do something about it or get over it. Those are my two ways I look at things. Either do something about it or get over it. You know what I mean? And so, but my way of doing something about it is using my opportunity on the mic wisely so that it can pass it down. I got two callers on the line. First, I'm gonna go with Darrell because you called in first, and I'll get to the next person. Darrell, what's up? What's on your mind, brother?
Well, yeah, man, I just wanted to piggyback on what the young lady, or I think what you said about Fannie Lou Hamer and about all the other giants that came before them. Listen, there were so many other activists. Fannie Lou Hamer. I mean, of course, we know about W.E.B. Du Bois, but there were a lot of in-house
A.
civil rights
Philip
activists that people
Randolph.
don't know about. That people just don't know. Fannie Lou Hamer was tortured in prison by two black men that were forced to torture her. Okay, she was tortured. She was damn near beat to death by two men that these white sheriffs sicked on her while she was in prison. And she got out of prison and she still spoke at the DNC. Okay, so she went through way more hell, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to make comparisons with Dr. King, but she went through way more hell than Dr. King went through.
Oh,
she
she
was a
did.
woman in the Jim Crow, and she was a woman in the Jim Crow South. And she didn't have any support, especially from the men. So that just lets you know how patriarchal and sexist, even at that time, like it was for women. And yeah, I just want to shout that out there. Like, please read up on Fannie Lou Hamer. And one of these days, maybe Dewan, maybe you could do a documentary on Fannie Lou Hamer because she does not get enough credit for the contributions that she made, not just for black people, but for black women in general. We have to hold her to a much higher esteem, because she accomplished way more than what she's given. You know what I mean? So that's all I wanted to say, brother.
I appreciate that, brother. Thanks for giving us a call. Yeah, we gotta show love to Fannie Lou Hamer. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
This brother Nori calling from Syracuse, New York.
Oh, way up there. I bet y'all cold than a motherfucker right now.
We cold, man. We cold, man. Had a
Man, I got cold when soon you said Syracuse. I got a breeze. That shit is now I'm cold. God damn, now I gotta put some sweats on now, nigga. You cool?
Yeah, I've been shoveling tons of snow up over here, man.
Yeah, man. And if you 1 second, and yeah, we celebrate Fannie Lou Hamer. Go to DewanB.com right now, and you can get my Mothers of the Movement shirt, y'all. You see it right here, where we're celebrating Dr. Welsing, Ida B. Wells, Fannie Lou Hamer, and Scheherazade Ali. Get the Mothers of the Movement shirt right now at DewanB.com. Now go ahead, Carla. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick. I first got introduced to you. I was on I love jazz, so I was on a trip. I got caught up with Lester Young. He just fascinated me.
I love Lester Young.
I got Mississippi roots, and then him being from Mississippi, I was really caught up in that. But I was studying him and what his influence and all that stuff, and all the jazz greats, and I was making these correlations with that time and like the current time, and then I was doing my research and I came up on your show. You did a clip when you were talking about Lester Young, Charlie Parker, the jazz culture, and how they came before hip hop culture, and there was a lot of similarities. I'm like, right, this is facts, and I was just hooked on you ever since then. But I called to say, the first guy that called you, he mentioned, and this is in the vein of the colorism and racial confusion. The first guy that called you, he said, like, right now it's been like people saying mixed people aren't black or light-skinned people aren't black, like the younger I'm Generation Z, so I've been seeing this. Recently, a lady did a video on Adam Clayton Powell, one of the greatest congressmen of all time. Light bright guy, look white, right? And she's like, in the comments, this man was white. I had to tell these people, like, listen, if you're gonna say Adam Clayton Powell was white, you might as well say T. Thomas Fortune, Maggie Lena Walker, Robert Church, Mary Church Terrell, Albert Clay. I can go on and on of light brights, dang that whites, black folks that was some heavy, hardcore fighters for us. I had to tell them, like, black is a lot of things. Black in America is a color, yes. We come in all different shades. Dang that white, jet black, Black is a culture. It's we have many different unique cultural expressions. The descendants of those who've been here, the black folks that's been here for centuries now, right? And most importantly, black is a consciousness. We have that spirit of resistance that, we fight for humanity and justice, right? So these black folks, it ain't about no one drop rule. Yes, that's how it was back in the time. But these black folks had the spirit. It was embedded in our culture. They had the consciousness, and they were black. Black. Black is more than just a color. Black is a consciousness. It's a culture. It's an inheritance. It's a spirit. So that colorism thing, man, that's not how we roll. We always been accepting, and we had our colorism thing. But I'm just saying, they're black. They're straight black, and that's all I had to say.
I appreciate that, man. I'm glad for you giving that perspective from your generation.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I was thinking about doing my. No, he's right though. A lot of the newer generation, I've seen dog crimes talk about that too. People not knowing the difference between biracial and light skinned black. No, America, even if you're very, 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 very light skinned, you was still a nigger. But it's up to us to teach that history. All right? It's up to us to teach that history. All right? I've been on here way longer than I thought that I wanted to. But it was a good discussion today. 2.5 hours. Damn, I was planning on doing it. I was like an hour and a half today. This is a great decision. But we have to discuss this racial confusion in black America because it's running wild right now. It's running wild. And I appreciate the callers for calling in. But yeah, man, we got to get on code, people. Gots to get on code with one another. And know what battles to fight and which ones not to fight. Again, I don't want to see that woman die. It's just not my fight. Think about, and the black people, even for those of you who really want to fight for it, think about it this way. They not listening to you anyway. You're joining in with people who don't like you on either side. So just mind your business. They don't listen to you anyway. This is the same state. Like, what did they... The only people who was mad at Philando Castile was us. Then let's just tell the whole truth. The only reason why people responded in such a way to George Floyd was because people it was during the pandemic, during the shutdown, and people had cabin fever, and there was no sports on TV and no movies coming out to distract us. America got to focus on what life was really about in the few months after the pandemic started. Up until LeBron James said, well, I'm ready to play basketball again. And but before basketball came back, people had cabin fever, and they had a chance to really look and see what America really was, and people got out on the streets. That was a cabin fever response. People don't give a fuck about you. Give a damn about no damn Philando Castile, nothing like that. Ain't nobody of another race asking who killed Darren Seals. What, did we forget about Darren Seals? This will be the 10-year anniversary since he died. Ain't nobody out there fighting for nothing that your black ass need. Name any group out there fighting for reparations for you. When I go to those meetings and I see Dana Dorsey and Friday and all those black folks, I saw one of my old high school friends, Jai. I saw two of my high school homeboys, Kenyon and Jai. I mean, I don't see there are no white people at these meetings. There are no non-black people at these reparations meetings. And then when we did do that meeting at Cal State Northridge last year, talking about the cost on being black in America, it was an African that got up to speak that said that he still don't think black people need reparations. It was a Latino that got up to speak and said he still didn't think black people needed reparations. It was non-black Americans. They showed they rusty asses up to Cal State Northridge last year when we had that talk about reparations. And it was the only non-black people that showed up were the ones to fight against our reparations. This is the world that we live in. I deal with the world that we live in, not the world that we want. I want a world where everybody get along. It's just not the world that we live in right now, so I'd be foolish to live that way. All right? You're right, Unsunken One. Unsunken One said it. Michael Jackson said it, and that's why they had to edit his album. That's why they had to edit. Because Michael Jackson said it. All right? Join the Patreon. We'll be back at it Sunday for the Music University. All right? And then tomorrow, we're going to do some readings tomorrow on Patreon. Patreon reading tier tomorrow, 10 a.m. Sunday, Music University tier. We back at it. All right? Y'all have a good one. We out.